The Unknown One. Part 2, The Morning Rush. Well, gentlemen, that's our mistake in a nutshell on the two of us. I had a toxic love to be needed, as did she. No wonder things progressed the way it did. Ugh, I feel sick to my stomach. But that just made this so much easier. The move comes up on Saturday. I'll be heading home to rebuild the life I should have had instead of being a caretaker. We both get it, now. That's why letting go of this marriage is going to be hard but will get easier with time. I told her that it was like a passing. And I'm not good with passing. Never have been. She wasn't, either. But she said it's the end of a hurtful relationship. Not the death of us. We have learning experiences to take in, as well as how to and not to treat people, as well as each other. We can be friends. We were exceptionally close for years. I don't think anything can and will change that, regardless of what we've gone through. I'm staying single for a good long while. I have issues to sort out. I have a career I deserve to start. I have an education that I want. I have a personal dream to fulfill. This is my fresh start. And in a sense, this is our start. For ourselves. Now there's some peace. I guess there's a quote, now. Whatever happens, I will handle it that I should start living by. Move back home is a good start. After that, a job. Counseling to fix my issues and my own severely diminished self-worth. Staying on my meds. Getting my own place. Turning my life around. Schooling. And then, my career. Balls to the wall. Here we go. Here's a recent log of our texts to each other today. Me equals M, her equals W. M, by the way, I have a confession. I never looked at this outcome as a death. And I've never been good with that. W, what do you mean? M, death of jobs, friendships, and even this marriage. I think that's why I lost it. And the damage we did to each other is done. And I can't move forward consumed by it. W, oh, I see. That's a hard thing to do, though. But there really is no death between us as far as I'm concerned. M, all the reminders, all the contempt, I started to erase it. But then I noticed that erasing you isn't my answer. W, I can't erase you. It's just not possible. M, I can erase a bad chapter in our lives. And it's hard now because of the circumstances. But to forget you ever existed is impossible. This is going to be one emotional farewell. W, yeah, we need to learn from our experiences. We can't do that if we pretend they didn't happen. I can't say I'm looking forward to you leaving. There are still so many places I wanted to take you. M, you still can. In time. I never said I wasn't going to visit. W, I know. And I look forward to it. M, I can't just cut you, the person, out. I never could. And I'll look forward to seeing you again. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I keep thinking that this was a mistake. But it wasn't. W, regarding the absence comment, indeed it does. And there's always Skype. M, I gave you a piece of me that nobody ever had. W, as did I. M, I know you did. There were times we both should have tried harder, collectively and separately. So now, we start a new relationship with each other. The one that always worked. W, yeah, it's still going to be tough to not have you around, though. M, I know. I feel the same. You know, ever feel that you love to be needed? W, yep. What's important is to remember to love ourselves, too. M, yeah. Let's make sure we both do just that. That was my mistake, too. It nearly crushed me. W, yeah. We really did sabotage ourselves individually. M, yeah. For what it's worth, the day you said don't leave me was the day I began holding everything in. It's like we stopped being ourselves, and instead we were, names omitted, husband and wife. W, yeah. M, right people, wrong time. W, I don't know. M, ditto. And a snippet from last night. Reading this over made my eyes water, and probably did hers. But it was needed. W, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do without you. M, for what it's worth, I will miss you, too. This was very hard to do, but I have to. Please understand. I love you with all my heart, but I can't live like this. The uncertainty is just too much. W, I think you're doing great. You're such an amazing person. I understand why you have to go. M, this isn't goodbye. We need this to heal. Otherwise, I will keep hurting you. You will keep hurting me. This week is going to be hard on the two of us, for sure. We'll both be alright. And when I'm home, we'll stay in contact. I know I can heal from this. I hope she finds it in herself too, as well. Update. And not moving back home. I'm staying in Canada. I need to do this, for myself. In a span of nearly 3 weeks, I completely undid anything I wanted to fix. I can't do it anymore. The only change so far has been my drinking, which is still completely non-existent. I started gaining weight. I started losing the will for life. I don't know if I crashed, or what. This friends thing really is starting to bother the piss out of me right now. I was warned numerous times that I'm dealing with a teenager who's intent on rebelling, and to let her have her fun. When she grows up, she just might realize that it's not all rosy. Oh well. Today, I spoke to my landlord and apologized for my constant flip-flopping. He understood why I was. He also offered me a new apartment in the same building. It's $200 less, though it's a bachelor instead of a 2-level loft, which is fine. I think I really needed this change in scenery. My neighbors asked me what I had changed and what she had. And that's when it dawned on me. I was forced to become responsible. She hasn't. Probably won't. I was also told to stop shouldering blame for the marriage failing, which is exactly what is happening. Once again, I went back into nice guy mode. Going to have to reread that book again. Ugh, I'm keeping the cats. The arrangement remains. As long as she contributes to their upkeep, I have no problems with her visiting. But I will make myself scarce. Change of addresses in order tomorrow. Utilities have been switched to a new account to prepare for the new place. This is it. There's no turning back. Do I think our marriage is completely broken? No. Do I think there are some problems that can be repaired? Yes. Time for her to see what being single is all about. As for myself, it's time to go into overdrive. I spent a good portion of my day-to-day moving things, myself, into my new place to find where they can fit. Tomorrow, I snag a job after making a bank deposit before my counseling. I want my doormat days behind me. If, one day, she feels that she wants me to be a part of her future, the onus is on her to prove it. I just took my control back, and damn if it doesn't feel good. I don't know if I was planning anything, to be honest. But enough is enough. I also just had an altercation with a neighbors of mine. He continued to egg me on and berate me until I had enough and stood nose to nose. Even called him out on a couple of things that he's done that's pissed everybody off. The response: what does it have to do with anything? Yeah, has nothing to do with anything, alright. Because it's better to just turn around and blast your music until all hours of the night. Or smoke so much pot that the entire hallway, and then my apartment, reeks of it. I couldn't believe what I said next. I'm tired of listening to this crap. I'm not your doormat or anybody else's. Multiple people have asked him to stop. What did they get back? I'm an adult, and if I want to listen to music, I'll listen to it as loud as I want. The neighbors I had an altercation with earlier today saw me in passing. Within a few feet of each other, he said, "For what it's worth, I'm proud of the fact that you stood up for yourself. I hope that this is the first of many." I also have taken stock of some of the aspects of our marriage where I did stand up to her and the point where I stopped. Moments I wasn't a doormat. When I put a stop to her constant running back to her parents. When I didn't want to go to a certain place, I was coming down with the flu and she really wanted us to go to the mall. When I spent 2 hours cleaning the apartment while she sat on her laptop before finally looking up and asking me if I needed help. I proceeded to say no and then walked to the kitchen, gave her a glass of water, and told her to enjoy the complimentary drink. It comes free with the maid service. When she stormed out of the apartment in a huff, it was over something trivial, and I sat right where I was and lay back on the couch, staring up at the ceiling. When she came back, she said that was the point where I should have followed her. I just shook my head. When we needed a car, ours was seriously falling apart. She was looking at cars that were clearly not ideal, not to mention $400. I pointed out a car that I found that was in better shape. When she acted like a little kid over it, I said either we look at this one or we keep the clunker. On the subject of children, when she said she wouldn't vaccinate our kids if we had any, and I told her it was ludicrous. She gave me her reasons, this new bandwagon of anti-vaccination, and I told her it was the most irresponsible and negligent thing that I have ever heard of. I continued to stand my ground on it. Regarding our finances, we had an agreement that anything over X amount needed a heads up. First, either a text or a call. That lasted all of 2 days before she spent nearly $90. Needless to say, I wasn't happy. During a silent treatment that I got which wasn't even my fault, I actually told her 2 words, "Grow up." I decided to play it back so that she could see how horrible it felt. I resolved myself to do it for 7 days. She lasted 3. When I started being a doormat, subverted my faith because she hated the denomination. Felt myself melt every time she started crying. Come home from work to cook, clean, and crash. Constantly felt the need to please her if I got a guilt trip. Continued to endure physical pain from a recurring knee injury and worked 10-hour days while she did nothing all summer. And lately, the non-doormat days are coming back. Standing up to my neighbors, standing up to her regarding this situation. My warning regarding the visits to the cats and the fact that she will not have keys to my apartment. Informing her of my change of address since she is still using this one for financial aid. I know that separations aren't a game. Without the control, I don't know what she'll do. But then again, it's not my problem. Was reflecting a bit on the things she said while I was slowly falling asleep. Things like how she realizes how good I was to her. That she now sees the effort I was putting in. How crappy I was being treated. I don't want to say too little too late, because it's only been 6 weeks. I guess when I find my own self-worth again, I'll be able to find where my true feelings lie. Codependency or unconditional love. I guess she'll have to do the same. Personally, I find that divorce is not an option. While my seesawing has been incredibly difficult for myself to deal with, and others, marriage is about the good and the bad. She's the one who gave up and is now blaming my alcoholism instead of looking for further root causes. And while I can validate her feelings, I won't validate her decision. Time to stick to my plans. Week 1, day 1. Sent short texts regarding the new apartment, bill arrangements. Hatched things up with my parents. Regained a hell of a support network in the process. Off to my counselor for my 3 p.m. appointment. Then coming back here and hanging out with my buddy for a bit. Change of address form filled out and in place. Ready to go. Haven't called her. once. No emails, either. I guess the whole notion of me moving into my own place instead of just assimilating our old place as my own kickstarted her motivation. She came by tonight to grab a lot of her stuff and is coming by tomorrow to help clean a lot of the nonsense, which is all hers, out of the closets and bedroom. Day 2. After a talk last night with her while we were moving some of her stuff out of the old place, she admitted that calling me her ex was, for lack of a better term, immature. Pretty surprised at that. Laid out my terms for the new place. She said they were fair. Goals for today: get the keys to my new place and sign the lease. Start moving as much stuff as I can in there today. Start cleaning the old place as much as I can so I can walk away from it after all said and done. 1 pack of smokes today, not 2, not 3. 180 tactics. No texts, no emails, no phone calls. Short and to the point conversation when needed. And the difficulty level is added to extreme when you know for a fact that your wife isn't exactly keen on detaching from you. Day 3. Been up since 6. No texts. Cleaning old apartment. She'll probably be by later to get more of her nonsense out of here. When she does come by, it's all business. This threw her off yesterday. No texts, no calls. Our 2 cats make it hard to completely detach from each other. But when I look at the big picture, we've been best friends for 12 years. We still have deep feelings for each other. We're very concerned about the other. We still want to be a big part of each other's lives. But we're also very, very stubborn people. She said she just wants to be friends. I finally, thanks to starting to break out of my nice guy phase, said in return, and I want this marriage to work. I finally took a stand. A stand that I knew in my heart I wanted. Not what others wanted me to do, not what others wanted for me. We're now nearing 8 weeks. Time flies. Been a lot of up and down on both of our parts. We're starting to realize where we both went wrong. What does this mean for the future? I don't know. She stopped speaking in absolute negatives. She's not exactly with the indifference, but I think she's starting to see how much I mean to her. I know I am. Nearing my 2 months of sobriety soon. Haven't been pushy about her coming. She brought it up. Feels good to know I have support. Found her flash drive, which she thought had been missing for nearly a year, under our bed. Notified her that I found it. What I heard back, I sure wasn't expecting. A very happy, sincere thank you and an appreciation that I searched for it. What I found with it may throw her for a loop. A letter I wrote for her last year that I attached to her present for our 6-year anniversary together. I'm leaving it on the counter as I type this, with her flash drive. She's coming by later and we're cleaning the old apartment out. I'm in the process of moving into a new one. I may duck out for a few so she can read it, or I may be there when she does. Don't know yet until it happens. I guess we'll see what her reactions are going to be. She's been fondly reminiscing about the nice times we've had, so it's anybody's guess. She also told me directly that she's very proud of how I've come, between controlling my anger, my sobriety, my weight loss. Seems sincere, but still on guard. She's changed a bit. It's like the ice around her heart is starting to melt. It's almost impossible to go to NC because of the pet situation and also because of the apartment situation. But when we do have contact, there's a few things I've been able to pick up on without reading too far in. Mutual pain, guilt, genuine happiness to see each other. I don't know if this is a good sign or not. I'm still moving forward with myself and so is she, but we're only into month 2. Long haul ahead, couples counseling being considered between us. And, thanks to a tip-off, checked her Facebook pictures to find that she deleted our wedding album. That's the final straw. I'm done. Screw this. I definitely got upset over that, if only the feeling of being erased. Selfish pride myself. My mistake. We had a long talk yesterday while we were cleaning out our old place. We definitely had some progress with each other. I was actually told that she respects me. Felt good. Guess we'll see. She really doesn't know how the divorce process works, but she hasn't even filed yet. Guess some growing up in her sense may help her see. I don't know yet. For now, I'm in limbo, but still moving forward. Maybe she sees this. Her treatment of me is starting to turn. She told me without even asking that the wedding picture removal was because they were too painful to look at right now. The parts of the 180 that I've implemented have so far been a positive attitude, showing her somebody she wants to be around, exercising, eating, getting a head start. We'll see where we go from here. Odd quip yesterday that I don't know was a slip or if she meant it, but I won't let it eat at me. We were cleaning out our old place yesterday for a bit, and she said, when we get another place, let's make sure this never happens again regarding the mess. I let it slide externally. Internally, I felt like my heart was starting to race. It's August 5th as I sit in the cafe with an iced cappuccino. All settled into my new place. The cats have adjusted quite well, as have I, with a few blips. I do find myself forcing myself to sleep without her next to me. It's starting to get a bit easier. Got my old job as a cook back, finding myself greatly enjoying it. It's like some positivity has been injected into my life again. My place is actually clean. I guess life without her right now has its benefits. It was frustrating to try and share duties with somebody who didn't want to pitch in. As for things between us, I haven't expressed much interest in hanging out and went dark for a bit. Now she's turned. She's not necessarily there, but now she's actually wanting to spend time together. I made an offer to take her out to breakfast before she left for New York for the weekend. She took it. Actually, went pretty well. We both agreed to a clean slate. I guess this could be considered a step one, in the fact that living in the past holds me back. I've started actually ignoring the defense mechanisms that she throws up, letting them go in one ear and out the other, such as we're just friends or don't have any expectations. Actions mean way more than words to me now. I'm starting to find a sense of self-worth again. I may wake up alone and a bit upset, but I still go about my morning, feeding my cats, my rabbit, taking a shower, picking out my clothes for the day, then off to work. I even took a chance on the lottery and came out with $99. Sure, felt good. We're nearing the 2-month mark on the 12th of this month. Her birthday is coming up soon, picking up a card later this week. As for myself, I've gotten my issues under a better control. My temper is actually evened out quite well. I'm in some great physical shape, now under 170 pounds, still eating regularly, just working out and taking better care of myself. I can look in the mirror and like what I see now. My counselor has noticed a change in my attitude, too. Woke up with a blah feeling today, but still pushed forward. Looking forward to work at 11 a.m. today. It feels good to go somewhere and be appreciated. She's on her way back from NY today. We may be meeting up on Wednesday, August 7th. Still going strong. Her birthday is Friday. I offered to do something for her tomorrow, since it's the only day we can really meet up. Already got a card and some small stuff for her, times when a photographic memory comes in handy. Hearing about things that she wants but hasn't picked up. She has no idea I've even gotten her anything. Going to take her to the movies tomorrow. Guess we'll see which direction things go in over time. As for myself, picked up some new clothes. Got a nice AE hoodie for $5 from the consignment shop and it's clean as a whistle. I find it hilarious how I can build a wardrobe for under $80 and she's almost blown through her money already by buying brand new. Started finding things that I could do without her around, such as listening to the music that I enjoy. I have an album blasting at the moment in my new place by Finch, one of my favorite bands, without feeling like I need to have headphones in. Playing the video games I like. No more getting blame projected on me. This one is huge. I'm really enjoying this. No more looking over and feeling frustrated at the Facebook addiction. That's not to say that life is great without her around. We actually now look forward to seeing each other. I guess maybe it's true that when you spend so much time around a person you get sick of them after a while. She still has yet to get into IC though, so I don't know what the hell is going on there. Lack of motivation or a feeling that I'm the one who has to change. I can say my feelings on the matter with one verb that I'm currently doing as I think about this. August 8th. Stayed up until 2 a.m. Guess I was just annoyed in general. Spent this morning doing my laundry and then putting together a gift bag for her for when she gets here around 1 p.m. She has no idea I've even gotten anything for her. Don't expect much out of it, though. 2 days off from work. Going to check in with my much-neglected PlayStation 3 tomorrow after my workout. August 9th. 3 days, it will be 2 months. I guess I lost a bit of the perception of time since this started. I'm starting to gain it back. Yesterday actually went great. She definitely wasn't expecting anything. Even though it was a small gesture, it was greatly appreciated. Went out to lunch, then took her to see Total Recall. Amazing movie by the way, highly recommended in my book. Went back to my place, took it easy. Walked her out afterwards. Wasn't completely distant, but wasn't super affectionate, either. Ended up getting a hug from her, she initiated it, and a kiss on the cheek, as well as a genuine thank you for taking her out for the day. No slip-ups or backsliding yesterday. Sat home last night to let it process and ended up actually feeling pretty damn good about myself. No obligation, no need to do this. I did this because I wanted to. Definitely not what I'm used to. Sitting at the cafe with an iced drink and a bagel as I write this. Not looking forward to work tomorrow. Crazy busy night, but hell, it's money. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. Did some looking into getting the D today, just to be prepared. Oh boy, is she in for a shock if she thinks that it's just separate for a year and then bam, it's done. I don't want it and really don't want to file unless I absolutely have to, but it's like a in case of need, break glass situation for the future. For now, I've been doing pretty good. My emotions have stabilized quite nicely. Cats are doing good. Job's going well. Well, today is 2 months to the day. I really didn't think it would be hitting me this hard. I woke up and had an instant feeling of dread. What is it about separations that totally throw off your concept of time? It feels more like 4 or 5 months instead of 2. Christ, staying dark for today. She's coming to my 2-month sobriety tomorrow night. Reality may be setting in for her now, too. My mother deleted her from Facebook and she is completely crushed. Guess she doesn't understand that all the inspirational BS she was posting was bound to be misinterpreted by anybody, up to and including a picture that said, take your mistakes and put them under your feet, use them as stepping stones. Clearly no self-awareness on her part. My mother is pretty upset at her handling of the situation. I can understand, but I can also identify with my wife's feelings as well if I were to put myself in her shoes. Maybe it's maturity versus immaturity at this point. Who knows? Never told her to come. She chose to show her support. She does know that I'm having a hard time with it. Whether she comes or not really doesn't make much of a difference to me, but the fact that she chooses to and doesn't feel obligated to is enough for me. Monday went great. It's hard for me to try and bottle in any emotion. After I got my 2-month chip, it's like a poker chip to use as a reminder of your commitment. We left the meeting and I broke down a bit halfway to walking home. Got some genuine comfort out of it for releasing some bottled up pride mixed with shame for my former alcoholism. Things are still confusing to say the least, but I'm holding up. Today I had what can be called a crash day. Crying. Spoke with my mother on the phone for a bit. Feeling a bit better. MIL has been showing some concerns. Interesting. As for the relationship with the wife, she's still completely pessimistic. I try my best to not let it get to me. For what it's worth, I notice that I in fact have detached. Sometimes there's some head scratchers. In regard to the just friends comment that she made, I made sure to say in a firm tone I'm nobody's just anything. Surprised myself a bit. Self-confidence. Hint of self-esteem. Strangely enough, she's making future plans with me already. She wants to go to San Francisco, New York, etc. So, what the hell? As much as I don't want to think about it, I wonder. He's already noticed the changes, which I made sure to remind her that they weren't just because she left. I had my own self-preservation to keep, myself. She's starting to point out the good that was in our marriage, oddly enough. Funny how now I'm hearing remember when we, insert good time here, or date we had, was awesome. Told her that we did a lot more couple stuff than she seems to remember. Her biggest complaint was that we were living like roommates. No matter what we did, no matter how small, as long as we were doing it together, we were out on dates. Logic rules the day. Month 2 is now 5 days in. Rebuilding the friendship that was broken between us is a start, for now. Strangely enough, we've been holding hands again. Don't know why, but neither of us realized we were doing it. Keeping the throttle back, for now. I had a bad couple of days emotionally. Yesterday the depression really hit me hard. I ended up spending all day sleeping. Guess this would be my second crash and probably not the last. Staying cautious, for now. Nowhere near R as long as she keeps avoiding I see. Forgot to add, she's telling me to not have expectations of getting back together. Yet she's got some of her own, such as we'll always be friends. Got a tip-off from some family members lately. We went back to my home state. I'm from the US originally. I moved up here for a wedding, and she was unbelievably cold towards most of my family, going so far to even get snappy and condescending to both my grandmother and my great-aunt, who are both well into their 82nds. The hell did these old ladies do to her? For some reason, none of them decided to come forward and say anything until now. Other things that have been noted upon reflection. Her constant complaining about our money while she didn't contribute, still has no job. Upon cleaning out the fridge, I ended up really getting angry. Multiple containers of leftovers that she made, just sitting there. Multiple containers of soy milk, yogurt, salad dressings. Month after month I was damned near begging her to not buy food that she wasn't going to eat. Somehow, I quote the one that was fiscally irresponsible. Cleaning out the closet, boxes upon boxes of her possessions. Things that had dated back to damn near first grade. Another thing I was always trying to get her to do. She always swore that she would go through it, but never did. Constant complaining about how we should have nice things, yet we had plenty of nice things, stashed away in said closet. When confronted about the nice things, she had no defense other than I forgot. Got a bit tired of Facebook overrunning her life to the point where school projects were being turned in late, even points where we had important events to get to, we ended up late. Why? Because she was on Facebook and just had to finish her Sims and Farmville before life could continue. Right, but I made her miserable. I was the little kid. Well, let's see. Who's living on his own and who's living back at home with mommy and daddy. I really do wish that my family would have come forward about her behavior, though. I did call her out after the wedding, in a very civil way. My father was on his knees and praying for my cousin and his new wife, and STBXW looked over with a dirty look at my father. I asked her what was wrong, and she looks over and goes, "He's praying." Like that wasn't supposed to upset me. Well, it's 8:47 a.m. as I'm typing this. We may be meeting up for breakfast. Don't know what'll happen from there. Found it hard to sleep last night. Woke up feeling relatively annoyed. Have somebody meeting up with me later on this afternoon to purchase a RC transmitter and receiver set that I bought last year that I have no further use for. Wondering if it's normal to now be in a fog regarding your feelings for somebody that you loved very much once confronted with reality. Alright, the anger has passed. Some deep breaths and a quick workout to get my head straight. I have a habit of thinking worst case scenario. It's something I need to break. Still implementing as many changes as I can to start feeling better about myself. Meetup might change to tonight, provided I feel like being available. There's been some candid feelings on her part that I'm taking stock of, but once again, actions over words, always. Time to enjoy my serie. Well, according to her, she wants to rebuild our friendship first, plus I see to deal with our own respective issues, before we even begin to consider working on the marriage. Telling myself this over and over is helping me break out of my negativity spiral right now. It's going to be a long haul. But we'll see what happens once the dust has settled down to zero and we can look at everything objectively. She desperately needs to break her codependency on her mother, though. At least she can admit and identify that it's become a serious problem and was quickly becoming problematic in our marriage. Well, today's meetup was rocky. The emotional landslide I was on was enormous, but I had to let it out. The talk actually went somewhere. She sees my side of things now. We're meeting up on Wednesday. Don't know what we'll be doing, but we're meeting up. Went to Tim Hortons afterwards for a couple of teas and talked some more. She admitted she needs to start picking and choosing her words because it's like anything she says just seems to upset me more. I told her that I'm struggling, too. She then said something that made me think. We seriously have no clue what we're doing. That much is true. 2 months, 8 days in. Yes, we keep it moving. Job number 2 possibly obtained. This should really help me as far as keeping me busy enough to where I don't even have to think. It's been a wild 36 hours. I spent some time in the emergency room. My therapy, my memories, everything I attempted to suppress just to make daily life a bit more bearable, surged forth over this past week. I odded and nearly passed away. I'm currently at the cafe, trying to stay out of my apartment. My wife spent as much time with me as she could at the hospital and picked me up after my discharge. This had everything to do with me and nothing to do with her or the separation. She knows that. She's just as distraught. She's currently afraid of leaving me alone at my apartment and will be talking to my MIL and Phil tonight about the possibility of me moving there so I can regain my focus, recovery from this, and possibly start moving forward. It hit me out of nowhere, and I can't even begin to describe the depths of shame that I feel. Over 24 years of memories rushing forward in the course of about a week, slowly suffocating me until I just couldn't take it any longer. My landlord knows the story and is giving me some space to breathe. I told him that STBX and I are currently figuring out my next move to see where I end up. One of my neighbors is deadly close to calling out my STBX on the gaslighting. Another is very close to directly confronting her behavior as of late. My own mother is very, very close to tearing into her. I'm fighting to keep all sides neutral. Apparently a very concerned tone on the end of the phone saying you need to get here, and you need to get here right now. Being met with a snotty well, I'll get there when I get there, doesn't resonate very well. I've been put through the absolute worst emotional torture available to any human being. Why do I keep feeling the need to protect her? Probably because that's what I've done for years. There's no protection now. I can't anymore. I've packed her stuff up for her, took care of our cats for her, kept the lines of contact for her, paid her bills in her absence. I'm making a pretty big life transition with employment on Monday. Going to get on a boat on the seaway, getting away, and working my bottom off, making some good money, and right now, as much as I hate to think like this, I have to. Getting away from the STBX would be the healthiest thing I can ever do. Alright, the boats are going to be a bust. My doctor told me that I am in no shape emotionally to be making any decisions or moves. I need to find my center of balance. STBXW changed a lot yesterday, and a massive wall came down on my end yesterday, the exact reason why I had begun holding things in since the age of 5, and mind you, I'm 30 now. Since my subconscious has been shredded to all holy hell, it wasn't hard to finally pull this memory forward after being asked one simple question. I understand if this is personal, but have you been abused? Bingo. By many, probably accounts for my spiral and my attempt to end it. Actually, definitely. Even one of my best friends said that just by looking at me he can tell there's always a defensive stance, one that's ready to pounce at even the slightest hint of aggression. My comment: find a therapist that specializes in recovery from abuse. Realize that part of your emotional center has been stuck at age 5 ever since it happened. The adult parts of you are going to have to reassure that childlike part that you are on the job and have things under control, and you are going to get help. Part 3 ending will be coming in a bit. Do you think OP will divorce her, or OP will take her back? Comment down and see you in the end.